Isn't he counting each tribe, numbering how many is in each tribe?
Right. So yeah, that's part of it, the numbering, the censuses that are taken. And that's what we'll be studying about today, the census that are taken and how that applies uh, and who it applies to and all the fun-filled stuff. So uh, these are the things that are according to that, to those numbers and stuff. So without any further, I will begin with chapter 1. Not unless somebody else wants to do that.
No, you're good.
Okay. I figured y'all throw.
I'm good with you.
Oh, most numbers in there.
Yeah, I figured y'all throw all these names on me.
Yeah.
All
That'll
right.
help us when it's our turn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys correct me when I'm wrong. That's all I can say. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai in the tent of meetings on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they came out of the land of Mitzrayim, saying, take a census of all the congregation of the children of Israel by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male head by head, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army into Israel, number them by their divisions, you and Aaron. And a man from every tribe should be with you, each one the head of his father's house. And these are the names of the men who stand with you. From Reuben, Eleazar, son of Shedeur. From Simeon, Shemuel, son of Zadar Shaddai. From Yehuda, Nation, son of Aminadab. From Issachar, Nathaniel, son of Shar. From Zebulun, Eladab, son of Helion, the son of Joseph. From Ephraim, Elishama, son of Aminadab. From Manasseh, Gamiel, son of Pedashar. From Benjamin, Abidan, son of Gideon, from Daniel. Alazar, son of Aminashadai. From Asher, Pagiel, son of Akron. From Gad, Elisapha, son of Guel. From Naphtali, Ahara, son of Enan. These are the ones called from the congregation, leaders of their father's tribe, heads of thousands of Israel. And Moshe and Aaron took these men who were called by name and assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. They declared their ancestry by clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, each one head by head. And Yahweh commanded Moshe, so he registered them in the wilderness of Sinai. And the children of Reuben, Israel's firstborn, their genealogies by their clan, by their father's house, according to the number of names, every male head by head, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered by the tribe of Reuben were 46,500. From the children of Simon, their genealogies by their clans, by their father's house, and those who were registered according to the number of names, every male head by head, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered by the tribe of Shimon was 59,300. From the children of Gad, their genealogy by their clans and by their father's house, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, and everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered to the tribe of Gad were 45,650. And the children of Yehuda, their genealogies by their clan, by their father's house, according to the number of names of 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered by the tribe of Yehuda were 74,600. The children of Issachar, their genealogy by their clans, by their father's house, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered by the tribe of Issachar was 54,400. From the children of Zebulun, their genealogy by their clans, by their father's house, according to the number of names, from the 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered by tribe of Zebulun was 57,400. From the sons of Joseph, the children of Ephraim, and their genealogy by their clans, by their father's house, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who registered to the tribe of Ephraim were 40,500. From the children of Manasseh, their genealogy by their clan, by their father's house, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered to the tribe of Manasseh was 32,200. And the children of Benjamin, their genealogy by their clan, by their father's house, according to the number of names, 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered to the tribe of Benjamin were 35,400. From the children of Dan, their genealogies by their clans, by their father's house, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who registered to the tribe of Dan were 62,700. From the children of Asher, their genealogy by their clans, by their father's house, according to the number of names, were from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered to the tribe of Asher was 41,500. From the children of Naphtali, their genealogies, from their clans, from their father's house, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army. Those who were registered to the tribe of Naphtali were 53,400. These are those registered in whom Moshe and Aaron registered with the leaders of Israel, 12 men, each one to his father's house. And all those that were registered to the children of Israel by their father's houses, from 20 years old and above, everyone going out to the army of Israel, all those that were registered were 603,550. But the Levites were not registered among them by their father's tribe, because Yahuwah had spoken to Moshe, saying, only the tribe of Levi do you not register, nor take a census of them among the children of Israel. Instead, appoint the Levites over the dwelling place of witness, over all the furnishing, and over all that belongs to it. They bear the dwelling place and all its furnishing, and they attend to it and camp around the dwelling place. And when the dwelling place is to go forward, the Levites take it down. And when the dwelling place is to be set up, the Levites set it up. And the strangers who comes near to put to death is put to death. And the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, everyone by his own camp, everyone by his own banner, according to their divisions. But let the Levites camp over the dwelling place in the wilderness, so that there is no wrath on the congregation of the children of Israel. And the Levites shall guard the duty of the dwelling place of the witness. And the children of Israel did according to all that Yahweh commanded Moshe, so they did. Whew. Hallelujah. So, what do we see taking place here?
They're taking a census.
They're taking a census. What is in comparison with that in today's world?
We're taking a census now.
Yeah.
But the difference is that I saw,
Mm-hmm.
they are only counting the men who are 20 and above who are able to fight if they go to war. They're not counting the women and the children.
Well, it didn't say that are able to go to war.
Well, let me go back here and see.
Okay.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm reading at 45, and it said it throughout the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all those numbered of the sons of Israel by their father's house, from a son of 20 years and upward, all able to go out to war in Israel.
Okay. Which one was that? What verse?
Well, that was 45,
Mm-hmm.
chapter 1, verse 45.
Okay.
But it's up there for Naphtali and all of them. It says, Asher and.
Okay. So you think anybody that was 80 years old might have been counted?
No, but last week or the week before, they counted from up to 60. And if they were over 60, then they weren't to go to war. They weren't to be included in the fighting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's interesting. All right. I remember that being mentioned, but okay. So you're doing a separation between the two. So the only one in this census that they're counting are you have to be required to go to war.
You have to be what?
Required to go to war.
Yeah, and you have to be a male.
Mm-hmm.
It says from a son
Mm-hmm.
of 20 years and upward.
Okay. All right. Because the way I read it, it says those who are 20 years and above. Then with a comma, it's saying everyone going out to the army or to the war. So the way I was interpreting it, and not that my interpretation has to be 100% right, just in my interpretation, it was saying, like if you say, what do you have? I have $20. I have a 10, comma, 25, or 10, comma, a 5, and 5 ones. So when I see a comma in there, it kind of leads me to believe that is also in addition, not that that is exclusive. You understand what I'm saying?
You're saying it separates them. It makes up a sum, but it's separate.
Right. It's not
all the same thing.
Not that it's the total of the sum.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you interpret, go from Hebrew to Greek, and all those type of things. In English, it loses some of its true meaning.
So the
It's all a mess.
question becomes, where was it lost at? Was it lost in the part that it
It was lost when they took it away from Hebrew.
or that it was limited to one? And so all I'm doing is just pointing out that it could be a difference in interpretation.
Yep.
Not that, as I said, it's not that it is
Right or wrong.
As to it can be interpreted either way. Because I looked at it, and I first when I thought of it, I thought same day that Emma Elizabeth thought of it. And when I looked at commentary, some said that it was the only those who were going out to war, and others said that it was pointing out to those who were 25 and up over, and those who were who were able to go to war.
Mm-hmm.
As if it was including those.
Okay.
So, and that's all I'm pointing out. So,
all right.
Not as I said, not that my way of interpretation is the correct all and end all. So, anybody else lean either way, or have another way of its interpretation?
No.
Because and the reasons for that was, like this says 20 and above.
Mm-hmm.
So, if one was thinking that it was solely those who were going to war, it could be determined that it could say those who were of age to go to war.
Right.
Which would have been.
It was their army. Each clan has an army.
Right. And so, and so that, like I said, the different people who wrote their little comments and stuff on this, they all, like I said, some go one way, some go the other way, and so therefore I come to an in conclusion as to which way is the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be all of the above that included the old men, or it could just be those who were just in the house or just able to go to the army. So, and I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
So, what else does it tell us in this chapter?
That the Levites aren't registered because they take care of the tent of meetings.
Okay. So that duties was the tent of meetings. So we don't have any idea how many of them there was in this part of it.
No, but they're responsible for everything. All of its furnishings, and they attend to it, and they camp around it, and then they take it down and they set it up and they carry it.
Yeah. And so then they began to, toward the end of the chapter, they began to placement or talk about the placement of the different tribes as to where they're supposed to be at around the tent of meeting. So why do you think that is?
Probably so they could be easily identified as to who goes where, does what.
Sounds like a good answer. MD?
Yeah, what was the question again?
Why were they placed? Why do you think that they were placed in the orders that they were, or why did you think in this part of the scripture is talking about the division and their placement with the tabernacle.
What was it, each tribe, or like this rank is higher than that rank? How was it? I didn't catch how they were.
It was by
placed.
tribe.
Oh.
Somebody look at verse, what is that? 53.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they were to encamp around the tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
The Levites camp around the tabernacle.
Mhm.
witness.
So
So
that
that
no wrath
No wrap.
on the congregation of the sons of Israel.
Mhm.
So he didn't want them squabbling over who got to get the closest, or
Well, when we first started out with this back in um, uh, when they started with the Tent of Meetings, before they had any of the artifacts and stuff, but they had
Mhm.
meetings. And Yahweh was first in the midst of the people. And shortly thereafter, after they did the golden calf and all that other stuff, what did Yah say to do with the Tent of Meetings?
They took it down, didn't they?
Man, they didn't. They took it down, but what did he tell them to do with it? Anybody remember?
Mm-mm.
Anybody have a guess?
Destroy it? Nope.
Well, no, they
Mm-mm.
didn't
The
destroy it
Levites,
because they're still talking
the
about it.
Levites carried it, right?
Huh?
The Levites.
Levites carried it.
Not at that time. It was just Aaron and Moshe.
Mm.
Let's see.
we gotta go
Kind
back
of
to
forget too.
Exodus.
That's back in Exodus. Yep.
Mhm.
Tired.
Hmm.
Let's see if I can find it. Okay. Should be around chapter 32, 33, somewhere in there.
I'm looking.
If it's where I'm thinking it is. But anyhow, basically what it says was that he told Moshe, take my tent out from among these people, otherwise I'm gonna kill him. He told him to set it out outside the camp, that anybody who wanted to talk to him could come talk to him. And the only ones that went was Moshe and Joshua. And Joshua remained in the tent all that time, but nobody else came near it. But he removed himself from the people because they had gone up there and done all these terrible things. And Yah said he would consume them all. I know it's in here, but
Over probably in 33, maybe about verse 6.
yeah, about 6 or 7, yeah. It says, and he took his tent and pitched it outside the camp, far from the camp, and he called it the tent of meetings. And it came to be that anyone who sought Yahuwah went to the tent of meetings, which was outside the camp. And it came to be whenever Moshe went out to the tent of meeting, all the people arose, and each man stood at his tent door and watched Moshe until he entered the tent. And it came to be when Moshe entered the tent that the column cloud descended and stood at the door of the tent, and he spoke to Moshe. And all the people saw the column of cloud standing at the tent door. And all the people rose and bowed themselves, each one to the door of his tent. Thus, Yahuwah spoke to Moshe face to face as a man speaks to his friend. And he will return to the camp, but his servant Joshua, son of Nun, a young man, did not leave the tent. And so that's where that took place. And if we notice in chapter 32 is when they made the golden calf and everything else. So that's why he put the children of the Levites around the tent, so that the people would not be consumed, that there wouldn't be no wrath of Yah on the people for coming up there defiling him. So he put the children of the tribe of Levi, the priest, around it, so that there will be that buffer. You guys understand?
Yep.
Okay. MD? You look like you had a question in your mind, or like you had something to share on top of that.
No, it's clearing. Okay.
Okay. Well, and that's what it is. I mean, before he was just in the midst of the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until they came back and they came with the golden calf and everything else that he was like, oh, shoot, I'm gonna wipe these folks out. That's when he told Moshe, I'll make a people out of you. Because I'm about to smoke these folks. They done seen everything I did, and they're gonna come up there and make a golden calf and put that in place of me. I ain't having it. And so that's when he, Moshe pleaded for the people. And Yah said, well, take me out of their midst, set me outside their camp. And I will, if they want to come talk to me, then they can. But if I'm in the midst of them, I will consume them. And so that's where that comes from. So that's why he says here to let the Levites do it. And does anybody remember why it was the Levites? How did the Levites get their position?
Was it after Aaron or Aaron's sons messed up?
Yeah. Well, they messed up, and then
Aaron fooled around and made that.
Well, the people had got to messing around and doing some wicked stuff, and it was the sons of Levi who went back and took up for the temple, or for the ark, so to speak, and went out there and slayed those people who were doing the wild and crazy stuff that they were doing. And Yah said that he was going to put them in place of Aaron's sons as far as dealing with that. So that's the reason. So we can start to see how Yah is putting stuff into play. And he begins to, in chapter 2, assign the places of the tribes and where they're supposed to be at around the temple. So anybody want to read chapter 2?
I will.
All right.
And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, the children of Israel are to camp, each one by his own banner, beside the sign of his father's house. Let them camp around the tent of meeting at a distance. And on the east side, towards sunrise, those of the banner of the camp of Yehuda camp according to their divisions. And the leader of the children of Yehuda, Nachshon, son of Amminadab, and his army with their registered ones, 74,600. And those camping next to him is the tribe of Issachar, and the leader of the children of Issachar, Nathanael, son of Zar, and his army with its registered ones, 54,400. Then the tribe of Zebulun, and the leader of the children of Zebulun, Eliab, son of Caleb, and his army with its registered ones, 57,400. All the registered ones of the camp of Yehuda, according to their divisions, 186,400. These depart first. On the south side, the banner of the camp of Reuben, according to their divisions, and the leader of the children of Reuben, Elitzur, son of Shedear, and his army with its registered ones, 46,500. And those who camped next to him, the tribe of Simeon, and the leader of the children of Simeon, Shaliminah, son of Tashirabdah, and his army with their registered ones, 59,300. Then the tribe of Gad, and the leader of the children of Gad, Elisha, son of Reuel, and his army with their registered ones, 45,650. All the registered ones of the children of Reuben, according to their divisions, 151,450. And they are the second to depart. And the tent of meeting, the camp of Levites, shall move out in the middle of the camps. As they camp, so they move out, everyone in his place by their banners. On the west side, the banner of the camp of Ephraim, according to their divisions, and the leader of the children of Ephraim, Elishama, son of Ammihud, and his army with their registered ones, 40,500. And next to him, the tribe of Manasseh, and the leader of the children of Manasseh, Gamaliel, son of Pedasur, and his army with their registered ones, 32,200. Then the tribes of Binyam, and the leader of the children of Binyam, Abidan, son of Gideon, and his army and their registered ones, 35,400. All the registered ones of the camp of Ephraim, according to their divisions, 108,100. And they are the third to depart. On the north side, the banner of the camp of Dan, according to their divisions, and the leader of the children of Dan, Achazer, son of Ammishabdah, and his army, and their registered ones, 62,700. And those who camped next to him, the tribe of Asher, and the leader of the children of Asher, Hajale, son of Ochran, and his army with their registered ones, 41,500. Then the tribe of Naphtali, and the leader of the children of Naphtali, Akira, son of Enan, and his army with their registered ones, 53,400. All the registered ones of the camp of Dan, 157,600. They depart last with their banners. Those were registered ones of the children of Israel by their fathers' houses, all who were registered according to their divisions of the camps, 603,550. But the Levites were not registered among the children of Israel, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And the children of Israel did according to all that Moshe commanded, all that Yahuwah commanded Moshe. So they camped by their banners, and so they departed, each one by his clan, according to their fathers' houses.
All right. So, there we have once again Yah having order, and him deciding how each one is to be sent out. Who was the first one to be sent out?
The Yahudah children.
Mm-hmm. And who is the next one?
Let me see. The next one is the second one's to depart. That is
The Issachar's tribe, wasn't it?
Reuben's. Be the all the tribes of Reuben.
Mm-hmm. And so he comes and he gives the place where they're supposed to be, How close were they supposed to be to the tabernacle? Right up on it, right?
No, a distance.
Okay. Why do we think that there was a distance?
Because of what they had done before
Yeah,
when they made Yah mad.
that's right. So when we read the one scripture where the brother goes up there and he puts his hand on the ark to hold it up, although it was getting ready to fall off,
He died.
He wasn't somebody whose position was supposed to be there. One, he was too close
Yeah.
to it anyway. So the ones that were supposed to be around it were who?
It was at that time, wasn't it Aaron and his sons?
Well,
And
The Levites.
it's a
And
Levite.
he made him mad. This
Yeah.
is after they made him mad. Okay.
So it was the Levites that were supposed to be around it. So we're getting a better understanding that one, that Yah had a requirement for and an order for what he did. So it wasn't so much that as we oftentimes look at it and we see that, oh man, Yah is just too tough. The brother was up there trying to help things from happening. He saw the little ox get ready to fall, and he saw that the ark was getting ready to come off and everything else. And all he did was put his hand up there to try to save it, and Yah punished him. As we see here, according to what's being stated here, he wasn't supposed to be that close to begin with. He was out of order to begin with. So it wasn't so much that he just because he put his hand up there, but it's also the fact that he was out of order. He wasn't in his right place. Yah has an order to things. And when we fall out of order to the things that he has, then as the scripture says, Yah is not the author of confusion. Everything is to be done decent and
in order.
in order. And so when you have somebody who is out of order, imagine what it would be like. Well, I'll give this example. We've all been to a museum, and they have areas roped off and says nobody is, to go beyond this point. Now, what do you think happens when a group of people come in and they see somebody over there picking up King Arthur's sword and wielding it around? Once he's down, what do you think the next person's going to do?
Go over there and
Same thing.
pick it up.
That's right. He gonna go do the same thing. He gonna, even though there's a sign and it might be a rope around it and everything else, once you see somebody else over there dancing around with it and Zorro and everything else, the next person going to like, it's my turn. Let me go over there and play. And so Yah was letting them know that I ain't playing. And so this is part of his teaching and his instruction. There's order to the way he says to do things. And once we understand that order, then we understand why things happen in the manner in which they did. So he was saying, you know, if you let one person go up there and say, "Ooh, I got to touch it," because I was there in the spot, because you know y'all couldn't handle it. He put some dumb animals up here who stumbled, and so I had to go and help y'all out. I had to go up there and put my hand on it, hold it up. Y'all said, no, that wasn't your position. That wasn't your job. You wasn't even supposed to be in that area. So because of that, just like at the museum, because of that, if you go into those wrong areas, what happens to you?
Get put out.
You get taken out. The same thing we see here. So Yah is putting things in order where everybody's supposed to be and what everybody's supposed to do. Shabbat shalom, Marky Mark.
Shabbat shalom, brother. How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing all right. We're in the book of Numbers. We're getting ready to start on chapter 3.
Book of Numbers, chapter 3.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So how everybody doing this wonderful, wonderful day?
I'm doing a lot better now. You know, I was super sore and everything else from being out there planting in the fields yesterday.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Hot sun beaming down on me. Everybody calling me at the same time. Trying to handle that and everything else. By the time I got done at the end of the day, I was more than worn out. Denise was worn out. I think we had a root beer float for dinner.
That's about all you can muster, huh?
That was it. That was it.
You said Numbers 3?
Yeah.
And verse?
Starting at verse 1. You want to read it?
Oh, sure.
All righty.
I ain't supposed to do no work, though, but okay. Let me get my glasses right. This is the account of the family of Aaron and Moses at the time the Lord spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai. The names of the sons of Aaron were Nadab, the firstborn, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Those were the names of Aaron's sons, the anointed priests who were ordained to serve as priests. Nadab and Abihu, however, died before the Lord when they made an offering with unauthorized fire before him in the desert of Sinai. We remember that, right?
Right.
Yep.
They had no sons, so Eleazar and Ithamar served as priests during the lifetime of their father Aaron. Verse 5, the Lord said to Moses, "Bring the tribe of Levi and present them to Aaron, the priest, to assist him. They are to perform duties for him and for the whole community at the tent of meeting by doing the work of the tabernacle. They are to take care of all furnishings of the tent meeting, fulfilling the obligations of the Israelites by doing the work of the tabernacle. Give the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They are the Israelites who are to be given wholly to him." That means all of it. Appoint Aaron and his sons to serve as priests. Anyone else who approaches the sanctuary is to be put to death. The Lord said to Moses, "I have taken the Levites from among the Israelites in place of the first male offerings of every Israelite woman. The Levites are mine, for all the firstborn are mine. When I struck down all the firstborn of Egypt, I set apart for myself every firstborn in Israel. Whether human or animal, they are mine. I am the Lord." The Lord said to Moses in the desert of Sinai, "Count the Levites by their families and clans. Count every male, a month old or more." So Moses counted them as he was commanded by the word of the Lord. And these are the names of the sons of Levi: Gershon, Kohath, Merari. These are the names of Gershonite clans. Libni, and Shimei. The Kohathite clans, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The Merarite clans, Mahai and Mushi. These were the Levite clans according to their families. To Gershon belonged the clans of the Libnites and the Shemites. These were the Gershonite clans. The number of all the males month-old or more were counted as 7,500. The Gershonite clans were to camp on the west behind the tabernacle. The leader of the families of the Gershonites was Eliasaph, son of Lael. And at the tent of meeting, the Gershonites were responsible for the care of the tabernacle and tent, its coverings, the curtain at the entrance to the tent of meeting, the curtains of the courtyard, the curtain at the entrance of the courtyard, surrounding the tabernacle and altar, and the ropes and everything related to their use. To Kohath belonged the clans of the Amramites, thank you, Amramites, Isharites, Hebronites, and Uzzielites. These were the Kohathite clans. The number of all these males, a month old was 8,600. The Kohathites were responsible for the care of the sanctuary. The Kohathite clans were to camp on the south side of the tabernacle. The leader of the families of the Kohathite clans was Elisaphan, son of Uzziel. They were responsible for the care of the ark, the table, the lampstand, the altars, the articles of the sanctuary used in ministering, the curtain, and everything related to their use. The chief leader of the Levites was Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest. He was appointed over those who were responsible for the care of the sanctuary. To Merari belonged the clans of the Mahalites, and their Mushites. These were the Merarite clans. The number of all the males month old or more was counted as 6,200. The leader of the families of the Merarites clans was Zuriel, son of Abihail. They were to camp on the north side of the tabernacle. The Merarites were appointed to take care of the frames of the tabernacle, its crossbars, posts, bases, all its equipment, and everything related to their use, as well as the posts of the surrounding courtyard and their bases, tent pegs, and ropes. Moses and Aaron and his sons were to camp on the east of the tabernacle, towards the sunrise, in front of the tent of meeting. They were responsible for the care of the sanctuary on behalf of the Israelites. Anyone who approached the sanctuary was to be put to death. The total number of Levites counted at the Lord's command by Moses and Aaron, according to their clans, including every male, a month old or more, was 22,000. The Lord said to Moses, "Count all the firstborn Israelite males who are a month old or more, and make a list of their names. Take the Levites for me in a place of all the firstborn of the Israelites, and the livestock of the Levites in place of all the firstborn of the livestock of the Israelites. I am the Lord." So Moses counted all the firstborn of the Israelites as the Lord commanded him. The total number of the firstborn males, a month old or more, listed by name was 22,273. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the Levites in place of all the firstborn of Israel and livestock, and the Levites in place of their livestock. The Levites are to be mine. I am the Lord, to redeem the 273 firstborn Israelites who exceeded the number of Levites. Collect 5 shekels for each one, according to the sanctuary shekel, which weighs 20 gerahs. Give the money for the redemption of the additional Israelites to Aaron and his sons." So Moshe collected the redemption money from those who exceeded the number redeemed by the Levites. From the firstborn of the Israelites collected silver weighing 1,365 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. Moses gave the redemption money to Aaron and his sons. He was commanded by the word of the Lord.
All right. Anybody pull out anything interesting there?
Everybody was a Levite. It seems like.
In this part of the scripture, yes. In the 2 chapters that we read before, we were talking about the other clans.
Okay.
And the census that was taken for them, what they were supposed to do and where they were supposed to be. Do we see anything similar here with the Levites that we saw with the other 12?
He's registering the children of the Levites.
Mm-hmm.
And they're for every male from a month old and above.
Mm. So why do you think he went so low to go to a month?
I don't know.
Always a good answer.
I have no
Always,
idea.
yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be considered
The next generation?
the first fruit of that group?
Does anybody remember us reading a couple weeks ago about the mother?
About what?
The
The
mother,
blood?
the mothers.
Oh.
When they had a child, a male child.
Yeah.
How long
Yeah.
was she supposed to be with that male child, and when was she supposed to?
33 days.
Yeah. So that is part.
Plus 7, which made 40.
Okay. Where'd you get the plus 7? Was that in there?
Mm-hmm. Because the 7 days she's on her monthly. So
Okay.
if you go back in there, I believe the numbers come up like that. 33 plus 7. And then for a female, wasn't it?
Seems like it was 30 something, wasn't it?
Huh? I wanted to say, but I think it's even more because it equals 80 for her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go back and look at that. See if we can find that. That would be back in the book of Leviticus.
Genesis? Leviticus, okay.
Yeah. What's going on, Oscar?
Yeah, that's him.
Let's look around chapter.
12.
You said 12? I was going to go to.
Chapter 12.
What do you got?
Chapter 12, verse 4, and she remains in the blood of her cleansing 33 days. She does not touch what is set apart,
Mm-hmm.
and she does not come to the set apart place until the day of her cleansing are completed. But if she gives birth to a female child, then she shall be unclean for 2 weeks, as in her monthly separation, and she remains in the blood of her cleansing for 66 days.
Okay. So, you said it was in chapter 12?
Yeah.
What did it say about the men in chapter 12?
It starts out about on the 8th day, the flesh of, talking about the boys, they will be circumcised. And the mother remains in the blood of her cleansing for 33 days.
Mm-hmm.
She does not touch whatever is set apart, and she does not come into the set apart place until the day of her cleansing are completed. And then it talks about if she gives birth to a female child.
Okay. So
As a sacrifice to do also.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 33 for boys and 66 for girls.
Right. Now she's unclean for 7 days.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then after she has completed her cleansing for a son or for a daughter, she brings the priest a year-old lamb and a young pigeon and a turtle or a turtle dove.
Yeah. So I can see where you can get your 40 days at. So but it's I was gonna go. I thought it was at chapter 27.
27?
That's what I was thinking.
Leviticus?
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'm reading the wrong. But so it might be back at 12. But I know that there was she had to bring in a certain amount for the child. Does it tell her what she had to bring in for the child at
Oh, where it says when 50 shekels of silver of 20 years up or to 60. That what you're talking about?
No. I was trying to find the place where when she gave birth, when she was supposed to present the child and when what it was supposed to when she was supposed to present her stuff and how much, but you know it shows over there that it was 7 days that she was unclean, and for 33 days she was in her unclean. So it's basically, as it's pointing out here, that it's that first month before she's supposed to bring that child to the sanctuary and supposed to submit it to Yah, because as it pointed out here in this scripture here, that all the firstborn were supposed to be for Yah. And when did those firstborn get removed and the Levites take their place?
Well, it would be the 33 plus the 7. At the beginning of chapter 12, it says, when a woman has conceived and she has given birth to a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days.
Right.
As in the day of her monthly separation, she is unclean. And on the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin is circumcised, and she remains in the blood of her cleansing 33 days. Well, that's part of the 33 plus the 7 that is God.
Right. So yeah. So like I said, when the Levites took over for Aaron and stuff, they also took over for the firstborn.
Because he said all the firstborn, them and beast are his. That's what he always said.
And so the people were supposed to give a ransom for that firstborn. And who did that ransom go to?
To Aaron and his sons.
Right. And that's basically for them to take over the
maintenance of the
right. Of you know, pay them for the work that they're doing in the house. And that is that an annual thing, or is that a one-time ransom? How many times do you ransom somebody?
It's a one time for each
Right.
child.
Right. So since it hadn't been done prior to, it's being done at this point in time, because this is the first census and everything else of them coming out. And so from that point on, each time that there's a male child that is born, there's a ransom given for that firstborn of everybody, not for every child, but for the firstborn. Because they were supposed to be the ones who went into the service for Yah, but because the Levites took their place, they have to pay that ransom for that firstborn.
You had to ransom Daphne. Liz would have to ransom TJ.
That's right. And it was for male and female.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to ransom Dana.
Had to ransom with Dana.
So
Yeah.
it was the
Next
first
time
one.
they get smart, I can say I paid a ransom for your behind. Huh?
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what he was saying in verse 12 and verse 13 says, "Look, I myself have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel instead of every firstborn who opens the womb." So it wasn't just the male and female children, but it also, as we go into verse 13, it also included the livestock.
These two. Yeah.
So that's what he says. It was firstborn man and beast. And so that was the ransom for it, and it was given to the children of Levi, the tribe of Levi. And so, and as we see that each one was assigned a certain position, and they were all given certain duties. And there was a tax, a redemption tax that was given to the firstborn. So, and we do see a count at this point of the children of Levi, the tribe of Levi. All right. Who wants to be excited and go for chapter 4?
Oh, do you have to do all the chapters 4?
That's what I was trying to look, because
I think not. Let me see.
I was trying to find my thing. I think I found it.
Yeah, you go 4, you just go to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to find my paper to see how far we went on that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yep, 4 and 20.
I'll go.
Go for it.
And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, "Lift the heads of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi by their families and by their fathers' houses, from a son of 30 years and upward, even until 50 years old, all that enter into the service to do work in the tent of meetings. This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tent of the congregation, the Holy of Holies. Aaron and his sons shall come in when the camp pulls out, and shall take down the veil of the hanging, and shall cover the ark of the testimony with it. And he shall put a covering of dugong skin on it, and shall spread a garment entirely of blue on top, and shall put in its staves, and they shall spread a blue cloth on the table of the showbread, and shall put its dishes and the spoons, the bowls, the cups of the drink offering, and the continual bread on it. And they shall spread a cloth of scarlet over them, and shall cover it with a covering of dugong skin, and shall put in staves. And he shall take a blue cloth and shall cover the menorah of the lamp, and its lights, its tongs, its fire pans, and all its oil vessels with which they minister to it. And they shall put it and all its vessels into a covering of dugong skin, and shall put it on the bar. And they shall spread a blue cloth on the golden altar, and shall cover it with a covering of dugong skin, and shall put in it staves, and they shall take all the vessels of ministry with which they minister in the sanctuary, and shall put them into a blue cloth, and shall cover them with a covering of dugong skin, and shall put them on the bar. And they shall remove the ashes of the altar, and shall spread over it a purple cloth, and shall put on it all its vessels with which they minister around it, the fire pans, the hooks, the shovels, and the bowls, all the vessels of the altar. And they shall spread a covering of dugong skin on it, and shall put in its staves. And when Aaron and his sons had finished covering the sanctuary and all the sanctuary vessels, as the camp pulls up stakes, then afterwards the son of Kohath shall come to bear, and they shall not touch the holy things, that they may not die. These are the burden of the sons of Kohath in the tent of meeting, and the oversight of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, shall be the oil of the lamp, the sweet incense, and the continual food offering, and the anointing oil. He shall oversee all the tabernacle and all that is in it, in the sanctuary and its furniture. And Yahweh spoke to Aaron and to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, do not cut off the tribe of the families of Kohathites from among the Levites, but do this to them, and they shall live and not die as they draw near the Holy of Holies. Aaron and his sons shall go in and shall appoint them, each man to his service and to his burden, and they shall not go in to see when the holy thing is covered, that they may not die.
All right.
20 was as far as I was to go, right?
Yes.
So, there's a special instructions going on here for the Aaron and his son, and for the priest. They were still assigned the Holy of Holies.
Mm-hmm.
And so even for them, there was special assignments. So nobody went without being given an assignment. Nobody went without, having something that they were supposed to do, an order that they were supposed to follow.
And they better have been listening.
What's that?
They better have been listening, because even if they touched certain things, they wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Right.
So he meant to have your attention.
Right. So it was well, they found that out early when they come up there trying to dance with some strange fire.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, oh, you guys gonna be the first one for me to do a demonstration with.
Yeah.
He had his own sweet incense. He didn't need you to mix up nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, that's what he's saying. Don't come in here doing a song and dance and think that you're gonna get away with it.
It's okay, yeah.
So so that's part of what they have to understand and what they have to take into consideration. It's all designed by the Most High as to how he's supposed to do it. He wants them to do it and do it in a certain manner. It wasn't for anybody. So when we get these people who just want to jump up there in the pulpit. Oh, I got a word today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you wasn't one of those, if it wasn't your assignment, as they said, if you go up there and you touch that which is holy, set apart, and you wasn't supposed to touch it, you're in trouble. We've seen that time and time again here. That, you know, for those who are there, you know, watch what you're doing, lest you die. So, and that's part of it. But this is all about being counted, which comes the term of accountability. And so, you know, that's what part of this scripture is about, to let us know that, one, we're supposed to be counted, and we have some accountability for why we're being counted. We have certain duties, certain places that we're supposed to be in this, that Yah has required us to be in certain spots. And so it's not until we recognize all that we can be accountable. So we're counted not just so that they can know numbers, but we're counted because we're supposed to be held accountable for the things that we're supposed to do. So we know where we're supposed to be at. When you know who you are, when you know what your position is, then you know what your assignment is and what your job is. And it's when we don't know and we want to assign ourselves to certain positions and certain spots that we begin to work out of order. And as we pointed out about the young man who put his hand up there to hold the Ark of the Covenant up, it seemed like he was doing a honorable thing to do what he did. But as we can see, because he was out of position and because he was out of order, he was in a spot that somebody else should have been to be able to touch it and hold it up. And so he had to be dealt with. And y'all had to let him know that, hey, the things that I said from back in the days of old still apply today. Don't let it be that because everybody's up there dancing and everything else, that it's acceptable for you to go up there and do whatever. Don't let your excitement get you behind in trouble. So, anybody else got anything on that?
Overload.
Yeah. And you know, we got that are quick to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We got folks that are quick to do
not a plan.
Yeah. So, anything else? Anybody got anything that stood out to them?
Thing that stands out to me is listen.
Yeah.
Listen to the instructions.
It's important, especially when he calls your name.
Yeah.
And you up there, you busy playing in the background, playing tag, gossiping there.
I'll be trying to clarify that again. Now you said what, when, where, how?
Yeah. Chasing butterflies and everything else. If you ain't paying attention when your name is called, and that's a part of the being counted, is like I said, it lets you know that you have accountability.
Now,
go ahead.
Who was Kohath?
Okay, where are you reading that?
I'm in 15, and I'm going on down to where he said, "Don't cut them off."
Okay, so let's read that. Okay.
What was his sons?
Mm-hmm.
No, it says, and when Aaron and his sons, so Aaron's sons, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
have finished covering the sanctuary and all the sanctuary vessels,
Mhm.
as the camp pulls up stakes, then afterwards the sons of Kohath shall come to bear.
They're the ones
They-
that'll carry it.
Huh?
They're going to carry the ark.
Right.
Mhm.
They shall not touch the holy thing,
That's
that
what
they may not die.
Mhm.
That's
These
that
are the
stuff that they
burdens
can
of the
wrap 'em
sons of Kohath in the tent of meeting.
Mhm.
Okay. So, the sons of Kohath are who do they belong to?
The Levites.
No, yeah, well, they're the families of the Kohathites from
Mm.
among the Levites.
Okay.
So they,
They were supposed to lift.
When all that stuff.
Do you remember how they were supposed to lift things?
how they were supposed to lift them.
Yeah. When you think of the Ark of the Covenant and the things of that nature,
They got them long.
Yeah, they were put the staves in
they
and
were,
lift it with the staves. And
okay. So they were
Yeah.
supposed to lift things with the poles. So
Yeah.
what is he telling them in this thing? When they come to lift them,
don't touch the holy stuff.
that's right. That's what he's saying. Hey, you just supposed to lift.
Okay.
You ain't supposed to be peeking up underneath. You ain't supposed to be trying. You know how your people are.
Yep. I touched it.
I wonder what's in there. Did they actually put Aaron budded rod in there? Is there actually some manna in there? Let me look in there and see.
Because that's why they did, certain people packed certain things. And that's why they had all those different coverings,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
leather coverings. Yours read something other, mine said fine leather.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the different colors of cloths that they wrapped.
Yeah,
things
blue
in.
cloth. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So with that being said, we've all had quilts and heavy blankets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine having 15 or 20 quilts, how heavy that gets, let alone if it's leather and all these other things that's on it. And remember how big these things were. You know, they were, I can't remember, 8 to 12 feet tall and
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was big.
30
Yeah.
cubits long.
Yes, 30 cubits long and everything else. So, you know, you wasn't talking about just something that was, you know, you can just fold up and put in a trunk and roll with it. These things were big, bulky, and heavy. And you had 6 or 7 different layers of stuff, you know, different colors, different fabrics, leathers, and things of that nature. So things tend to get heavy real quick. And so, and that's what he was saying with the stuff that he's talking about here. These things are supposed to be carried. They're supposed to be carried in a certain manner. They're supposed to be covered. So where you were reading it, MD, and what was it, verse 12? You know, he was talking about, you know, cover these stuff, wrap them up, cover them. Then you're supposed to walk with them. But, you know, the ones that, well, I guess it was verse 15 that you had gotten to. So it talks about once Aaron and his sons, who were ones who were allowed to touch a few things, finished covering the set apart objects, all the furnishing of the set apart place, and at the breaking of the camp, when the sons of Kohath shall come to lift them. They were supposed to wrap them, but the other one's supposed to come and lift them up. Let him not touch that which is set apart, lest he dies. These matters are the burdens of the sons of Kohath. in the tent of meeting. So he was supposed to just lift them up. That was all he was supposed to do. They were supposed to wrap them up. He's supposed to come and pick them up. It's about like moving. You go up there and you box up all your stuff and you call the movers to come move stuff. He ain't supposed to be going through your stuff looking and seeing what's in there. And
Right.
here. If you remember, the Ark of the Covenant and all those other things, ain't nobody supposed to even see those. Those who go into the inner temple and the Holy of Holies. And so these weren't those ones. All they were supposed to do is once it gets packed up, all they were supposed to do is move. And so that's what you have going on here. And so that's what it was saying about them. And so you see in verse 18 that they were saying, do not cut off the tribe of the clans of the Kohathites from the Levites.
Yeah.
You know, because these are the ones that's supposed they got a special duty. They're supposed to come in and carry this special stuff. That's why you, like I said, you see somebody else coming along, and he's gonna lift up a hand to do some stuff he ain't supposed to do.
I have. You better stay back.
That's right. You ain't supposed to get close. That's like a little kid coming to the stove.
Yeah.
"Oh, you cooking, Mama? Let me go in there and stir the pot."
Let me look.
You get
It's always
burned.
let me look.
Yeah.
Let me look.
Yeah.
Hand up, touching. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and I say these things so that we can. Sometimes, you know, you view it, and because you don't understand it, you think that, oh, you know, Yah is so harsh in what he's doing. But the same way that a little kid goes up there to reach a hot skillet of fried chicken, and they go up there and smack their hands and send them away wahooing. You know, the child thinks, oh, Mom's so terrible and so mean because she did that. But Mom was actually trying to save you. That little bit of pain,
consequences is much worse than that smacking.
Yeah. Is nothing compared to that of what would happen if that hot grease fell on you. And so oftentimes, you know, I always try to share with people, you know, sometimes we go through stuff at a young age, and we view things from that child's point of view. And if we don't ever go back and relate to it later in life, a lot of times we get stuck in that child's point of view, and we think that, oh, this person was so mean and so evil, that they were just so bad for doing these things. And you never get a chance to really reflect back with maturity as to what actually happened. We're still viewing things from an immature mind. And sometimes we got to go back and just review things and say, you know, was it really as bad as what I may have felt bad at the time. It may have scared me and spooked me, or I may have thought things were wrong at the time, but, you know, how wrong were they for not letting me be able to go on that trip to somewhere? And I'm thinking that the reason why they don't allow me to go is because I'm too dark, too tall, too ugly, too whatever. Without, you know, taking into consideration, sometimes they did that stuff to protect me and stuff.
Right.
So sometimes we, like I said, we view things from an immature mindset. And if we don't ever go back to review that with maturity, a lot of times we get stuck in that childish mindset, and that hampers us and limits us throughout life. And understanding what actually took place. So, that's it on that. Anybody got anything else to share on that part? So, all right. So we're seeing in numbers that there's accounting and accountability. So let us jump to 1 Samuel chapter 20. I'm looking at the wrong one.
1 Samuel 20, verses 18 to
18 to 42. All right. So, Here we go once again with accounting and accountability. And I'll read.
Samuel 1:18.
Yeah, 1 Samuel
18.
chapter 20,
Verse 20, 18.
I mean, 20, verse 18.
starting at
yeah.
verse 18. 1 Samuel chapter 20, starting at verse 18. So, and this is Jonathan and Dawid. So it says, so Jonathan said to him, tomorrow is the new moon, and you shall be missed, because your seat
Yeah.
shall be empty. We at the same spot?
Nope. You know why? Because I'm still in numbers.
Okay. 1 Samuel chapter
You
20.
do read a little bit different.
Hey, I got it and it flipped back.
Yeah. 1
Okay.
Samuel chapter 20, starting at verse 18.
Here we go.
All right. And Jonathan said to him, tomorrow is the new moon, and you shall be missed, because your seat shall be empty. And on the third day, go down quickly, and you shall come to a place where you hid in the day of the deed, and shall remain by the stone Etzel. And let me shoot 3 arrows to the side of it, as though shooting at a target. And see, I shall send a youth and say, go find the arrows. And if I expressly say to the youth, look, the arrows are on this side of you, get them and come, then as Yahuwah lives, there's safety for you and no concern. But if I say thus to the youth, look, the arrows are beyond you, go your way, for Yahuwah has sent you away. And as for the word which you and I have spoken of, see, Yahuwah is between you and me forever. And Dawid hid in the field, and when the new moon came, the sovereign sat down by the food to eat. And the sovereign sat on his seat, as at other times, on a seat by the wall, with Jonathan standing and Abner sitting by Shaul's side. But the place of Dawid was empty. But Shaul spoke not a word that day, for he thought, it is an accident. He is not clean, for he has not been cleansed. And it came to be the next day, the second day of the month, that Dawid's place was empty. Shaul said to Jonathan, his son, why has the son of Yeshe not come to eat, either today, yesterday or today? And Jonathan said to Shaul, Dawid earnestly asked my permission to go to Bethlehem. And he said, let us go, for our clan it has a slaughtering in the city, and my brothers have commanded me to be there. Now, if I have found favor in your eyes, please let me get away and see my brothers. That's why he has not come to the sovereign's table. Then the displeasure of Shaul burned against Jonathan, and he said to him, you son of a perverse, rebellious woman, do I not know that you have chosen the son of Yeshe to your own shame, to the shame of your mother's nakedness? For how long has the son of Yeshe lived on the earth? You shall not be established, you nor your reign. And now send and bring him to me, for he is the son of death. And Jonathan answered Shaul his father and said to him, why should he be put to death? What has he done? At that, Shaul hurled a spear at him to smite him. But Jonathan knew that his father had resolved to put Dawid to death. And Jonathan rose from the table in the heat of displeasure and ate no food that second day of the month, for he was grieved for Dawid, because his father put him to shame. And it came to be in the morning that Jonathan went out to the field at the time appointed with Dawid, and a small youth was with him. And he said to the youth, now run, find the arrows which I shoot. The youth ran, and he shot an arrow beyond him. When the youth came to the place where the arrow which Jonathan had shot, Jonathan called out after the youth, "Is not the arrow beyond you?" And Jonathan shouted after the youth, "Make haste, hurry, do not stand still." And Jonathan's youth picked up the arrows and came to his master. When the youth but the youth knew not to expect. Only Jonathan and Dawid knew of the matter. Then Jonathan gave his weapons to the youth and said to him, "Go take them to the city." As soon as the youth had gone, Dawid rose up from the south side and fell on his face to the ground and bowed 3 times, and they kissed one another and they wept together, but Dawid more so. And Jonathan said to Dawid, "Go in peace, since we have both sworn in the name of Yahuwah, saying Yahuwah is between you and me, and between our seed, your seed and my seed forever." Then he arose and left, and Jonathan went to the city. So here we have a parable once again, or a story, not so much a parable, of what had taken place. And as according to the scriptures, during the time of the new moon, there was supposed to be a feast. And at that point in time, Yah required at that feast that meals were supposed to be prepared and people were supposed to show up. And so Dawid was supposed to be at the king's table, and when he did not show up, when he was not counted, there was an accountability getting ready to take place. And so that's where this story comes into place about being counted. We're supposed to be counted. We all have responsibilities to do. And it was due to this that even Dawid had to ask permission not to be at the place where he's supposed to be held, counted, and be accountable. And at that, we see the displeasure of Shaul with that. Anybody get anything out of that as far as the accountability?
Consequences when you don't show up.
This was a good consequence. Wasn't good for Jonathan. And he found out that his daddy was upset. If you were to read the whole chapter there, you find out that Jonathan was telling Dawid, he was like, "No, my father ain't mad at you. He ain't trying to kill you. Why would you think that?" And that's when Dawid said, "All right, I'll give you an example so that you'll know." He said, when the new moon comes, you just tell him, say, "Hey, this is the reason why he ain't here. He asked for permission to go be with his brothers and stuff." And when he comes up there and he's like, "Oh, he ain't here? You don't let him go?" He said, if he don't get mad, then there's no problem. But if he does get mad, then you know that there's a problem. And that's when they made that a pact among themselves. And Jonathan said that, "Hey, I'm not going to be a part of that, basically, and I'll come back and let you know if my father is actually trying to kill you or not." And so that's when he came back and told him, and they agreed. Yes, they kissed, but that was the custom, to give a kiss on each cheek. Wasn't a passionate kiss.
It wasn't a lip locker.
Yeah, it wasn't a lip locker. It's the same.
Like you see on the ad on TV nowadays.
Yeah, it's the same as during the time of Yeshua when Judas came and kissed him on the cheek. Greetings. In the East and in foreign lands, that it is not a foreign custom for them to greet each other with a kiss. see that in a lot of places. But what it does show that we are still held to be accountable, even during the time of Dawood, that he was held accountable to follow the commandments of Yah, to be at certain places at certain times, and that people were sitting there waiting on him, as it said that Shaul, he was like, oh, well, he must have gotten dirty today. He must have touched something dead or killed somebody or did something that made him unclean to the point to where he wasn't supposed to be here. But he'll definitely be here tomorrow. And so when the next day came, there also. And also, he said perhaps it was a mistake. And so why do you think that he may have thought that it was a mistake of the
He's thinking about winning.
On the new moon?
He should be here. Not exactly on Saturday.
What was a what?
Sacrifice should be rewarded.
Why do you think that there was that might be a mistake on the new moon? Mark, I'm getting a lot of background feed.
Hold on.
And we should live with it.
All right. So I was just asking, why do you think that he might have thought it was a mistake? What could be the mistake on the first day? Anybody remember? How do you discover when the new moon is?
By the stars? No.
There is no moon on a new moon.
Huh?
There is no moon on a new moon. Visible. No visible moon on the moon.
Where they begin the beginning of the month when they see what?
The first line.
Yeah. So it's the first sliver. So they may have thought that maybe he looked and he see the sliver, first line of the moon. And so they granted that by the second day, there's definitely a visible sign. So that's why he gave him a little bit of.
Somebody got a TV or radio going somewhere?
Not me.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So. So anyhow, with that being said, that's how they tell, and that's why he thought that perhaps he made a mistake and didn't see the first sliver.
Sliver.
If you notice, by the 15th of the month, by the middle of the month, that's when it is the full moon and everything else that's out there about that time. That's why you see the eclipses and the blood moons during those times, because it is the full moon and things of that nature. When that happens, the red moon is always during those times. Otherwise, it would be partial eclipses and everything else if only part of the sun or part of the moon is out. So, anybody got anything else to share on that point? All right, let us move to the next part. Where we go from here, Sandra K.
Matthew
Matthew, chapter 4.
4, verses 1 through 17.
All right, a very good verse. All right. So, here we go. This might lead back to MD's 40 days. Anybody want to read this?
Okay. Then Yeshua was led up into the wilderness by the Spirit to be tempted by the devil. And having fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterward he hungered. And coming near to him, the accuser said, "If you are the Son of Yahweh, speak to these stones, speak that these stones may become loaves. But answering, he said, it has been written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh. Then the accuser took him to the holy city, and he set him on the pinnacle of the sanctuary. And he said to him, if you are the son of Yahweh, throw yourself down, for it has been written, he shall give his cherubs charge concerning you, and they shall bear you on their hands, lest you strike your foot against a stone. Yeshua said to him, again, it has been written, you shall not test Yahweh, your Elohim. Again, the devil takes him to a very high mountain and shows him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory, and said to him, I will give all these things to you, if falling down you will worship me. Then Yeshua said to him, go, Satan, for it has been written, you shall worship Yahweh your Elohim, and him only shall you serve. Then the accuser left him, and behold, cherubs came near and ministered to him. But Yeshua, hearing that John was arrested, he withdrew into Galilee, and having left Nazareth, having come, he lived at Capernaum beside the sea in the district of Zebulun and Naphtali, so that might be fulfilled that spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, way of the sea, the crossings of the Jordan, Galilee of the nations. The people sitting in darkness saw a great light, and to those sitting in the land, the shadow of death, light sprang up to them. From that time, Yeshua began to preach and say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven has drawn near.
So, we've been talking about being counted.
Mm-hmm.
Been talking about accountability. We see where Hasatan wanted to know how Yeshua counted himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What did he say to him? If you what?
If you throw yourself down and worship me.
No.
If you are the son
That's right.
Oh,
of
I want to
Elohim.
know how do you count yourself? Because understand that each position, even the tribes, are either by the tribes or by the Levites or by the sons of Aaron. Each one of them had a certain position and certain accountabilities. So he was saying, you know, now if you count yourself as the son of Elohim,
yeah.
go on and speak to these stones that you got. You know, you got the power to do that. But Yeshua, when he responded to him according to his accountability, not according to his power. And so his accountability was to do what?
Say what has been written by his father.
That's right. That's right. He was only supposed to respond not with his own desires and his own wishes. Yes, he was hungry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, He'd been out there 40 days and 40 nights, was weak and everything else due to that. And so Satan was saying, all right, I'm gonna count you as one of these, but if I count you at this, then you got to show me your power. Show me your might. But Yeshua said, no, I'm held accountable at this level. Just because I'm able to do stuff, then that doesn't mean that I should do stuff.
And I ain't got to show you anyway.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we had people who were at those levels of accountability, I have the power to do stuff. We got Popo. They have the power to execute people out there in the middle of the street. But if they hold themselves accountable, not operating off of their fears, not operating off of the things that they want to do or the people that they dislike and all this other stuff, and not just saying because I have the power to shoot and kill somebody, just because I have the power to hold and detain somebody, but I have the accountability of this position. There will be a lot less death. There will be a lot less issues out here in the world when they hold themselves accountable to the position and not just walk in the power of the position. And so, and that's what Satan was wanting Yeshua to do. Yeshua knew that he who he was, and Satan goes and takes him even into the set apart place. It takes him to that part. In some of the videos and stuff, you show where those of us who are in RCA, that we can go up there and stand at that point by the city of David, and you see that drop off there. It's the place where we believe that the temple actually was, and not. We definitely know that it's not the Wailing Wall. Yeshua himself said, not one stone is going to be left on there. So I don't know why these people are sticking little stuff in the crack on all these stones that are a wall that's 40, 50 feet tall. Maybe y'all couldn't count, I guess, according to these people. When he said not one stone, because there's a ton of them that are stacked at that point. So there's the deception that's there. But at the point that we were at, there ain't no stones there. At that point, you can see that drop off that drops down into the city. And so with that being said, matter of fact, I think I got a picture of that. I'm sure I do. And I'll see if I can share it right quick while you guys discuss this. But as I said, it took him up to that point and said that if you throw yourself down, that the angels will catch you, because they'll make sure that not even foot hits the thing. And then he took him up to a high point in the mountains and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and said, I'm the ruler of this world. Now, if you go ahead and honor me, then, everything will be all right. You can just fall down and I'll give you all of this.
Sure.
And all you got to do is just bow down and worship me. Yeshua didn't even argue with him. He just said, hey, this is what the word says, that you need to honor Yah and him alone. And he commanded the devil. He said, leave me alone. And the devil had to leave him. He said, hey, I can't mess with your authority. And I sure can't mess with you because you are holding yourself accountable to those positions. And so that's where we have it there. That's where he goes and he begins to talk over here in this next part, talking about the kingdom of Yah is coming. What does that mean to you guys when you hear that the kingdom of Yah is near?
He's coming back.
Okay, he's coming back. Well, what is the kingdom? What does that lead you to?
His kingdom,
Okay.
the way he intended it to be.
Okay, so
He's going to be the one and only king.
When you can look around and say all of this is his. He made it in the first place.
okay, so in light of what we've been reading today, when it says that the kingdom of Yah is near, that it's coming back real soon, what do you think that is going to resemble?
It's gonna be a lifestyle of how it was before.
Okay.
Would you
Like-
say
According to what?
According to the Old Testament, like how we used to worship it back in the day.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a kingdom. It's a kingdom lifestyle.
Mhm.
So it's gonna have one king, which is the Almighty. It's not gonna have all these. They're trying to do this one world order about. And if he does it, it's gonna be him as king, and we're gonna be good every Sabbath and feast days and all those type of things. Everything's gonna be in order.
Mm-hmm. So, and I agree 100%. I think this is the picture I've been looking for.
everything's going to be as it should be?
It's going to be as it should be. So, let me see if I can share this.
Yep. I mean,
As it is written?
yep. There's
In
a God.
the order that, as he described it before, as he said that this is what is supposed to take place. These are the people, and this is what they're supposed to do. Can you guys see this picture?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the area where we believe that the that the temple is supposed to be at. And as you can see, we're looking down on the town, and you can't really see here. I don't know can you see my little cursor right there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, right there, there's nothing down there. There's nothing but a drop. You see the places.
Yeah,
And
that's the mountains of Ephraim.
no, that's not the mountains of Ephraim. This is the this is Jerusalem,
Mm-hmm.
city of David. And so over here, this is where the kings and stuff are buried. Over here, this is the city of David. Let me see if I might even have something that even points to that. But right here, on the inside of this here, on the other side, that is what is called the Wailing Wall. This is the Wailing Wall itself.
Oh, really?
And so on the other side is where the people are inside what they call the New Jerusalem. They're inside. If you can see this part here, there's no rocks or anything that's on this spot. When Israel came and established this, when they took over Jerusalem during the what was the 6-day war, 7-day war, however many days it was, 8-day war. This is where they came and took over at this spot where you see these little pillars. That's where they put their they put these down to commemorate where they were able to come in and establish.
And it looks like, is that the Star of David on the top of there?
What's that?
Is that the star where your cursor is? Bring it over to the left.
Yeah, that's the Star of David that they got that you guys can see on there. But that wasn't there before. Those are newly made. But this area here is where the temple actually was. As we can see in these things, like I said, you can see down on the city. You can see down here, there's nothing straight off of there. So when you read here that he took him to in what was that? Verse 5 in chapter 4. He said he took him up to the set apart city on the edge of the set apart place. And he told him that if you are the son of Elohim, throw yourself down, for it is written concerning you that in their hands they shall bear you up so that you don't even dash your foot against a stone. And so that's where that is. But over here, like I said, this is where the Wailing Wall is. I don't know if I got any more in here that might go on the inside or not. Oh, that's the cloud that we saw while we were there. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the inside. This is the inside right here, the Wailing Wall.
Yeah.
These are all them clowns in there.
Sticking their little prayers in the crack.
Yeah, as you can see, these people are 6 feet tall, we'll just say. And so you can actually say there's another 4 feet above them. So these two.
And how did that get there? Why is that just that wall there?
Well, when you look at it back over here, let me go see if I can get that to go back. Where's my little thing at?
Well, they got all them tables and you have lunch there, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got everything there. That's why I can't see it. All right, there we go. When we go back over here,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, they'll tell you that's New Jerusalem. So if it's New Jerusalem, it ain't. What does that look like? Does that look like a temple to you?
It looked like a castle's wall to me.
Yeah, and that's what it was. It was a garrison where the Roman army came in and built up a wall for them to be able to protect that part of the city.
Okay.
And that's what it is. And so when you see it on the inside and you see these people up there dabbing, as I call it.
Mm-hmm. Bowing their heads up and down.
Sitting there and bobbing the head back and forth.
Like one of them bobblehead dolls, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And doing all that. I didn't even go over there. I just stood from a distance. So let me take a picture because people won't believe this. When the scripture says not one.
Are these the ones that have the curls hanging?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say that not one stone will be on top of another, there's too many of these stones to fall in. I mean, look at how high that is. Like I said,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
30, 40, 50, 60 feet high minimum.
Is it just a wall or is it a building that you can go in?
Well, it's just a wall. It's just an outside
Okay.
wall. That's just the outer part of those ruins that are there.
Okay. Okay.
So like I said, out here you can see the corner and stuff like that. There's a corner in there, but
Yeah.
there's no top over it or anything else.
Okay. Okay.
And they might have some inner walls in there. I don't know, but that's basically that wall of all that. And then, like I said, as we look further, there's the actual city of David, the city of Jerusalem.
Of Jerusalem. Okay.
That is there. That's old Jerusalem.
And the king, this hill-like thing up there behind this, that's where the kings and things are buried.
Yeah, that's where the kings and stuff are buried over there. And then over there is the city of Jerusalem and stuff like that. Oops. No Pacer game.
Yay, Pacers.
Yeah. Be good when they come back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's where all this is. Like I said, this over here, and there's a deep valley that goes down to the right, and it shows all the city of David and everything else. So when you see this and you look at this, that to me looks like old Jerusalem, old. I can get this to that looks like an old city. I don't like the new stuff that that looks a lot older than this over here. That right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you see it, it's obvious when you see it, that you understand and everything. But this is why, we come to this part. We come here, we pray and we worship there because this is what we believe that to be. So when you talk about his kingdom coming, we're talking about his order coming back to be able to, for us to be held accountable and to do the things that we're required to do. So. But that's about it. Anybody got anything else that they want to share with this? What does that say to us? I should ask about being counted and being accountable.
Well, says to me, I need to keep reading these scriptures because it makes it clearer and clearer what I should be doing. And yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
we got a job. There's an assignment.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
it tells us when we consider ourselves to be Israelites. Mark says you have to be present and obedient. True.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, as I was saying now, in that very light of what Mark just said, is that there's a purpose for us to be here. We have an assignment to do. We're not just supposed to be sitting down here skipping and dancing like everybody else. That we have, in His kingdom, we have a place and we have an assignment, and so we have to be counted so that we can hold ourselves accountable for the things
Mm-hmm.
we do. So when others come and say, "Well, I'm no longer under the law," as you ain't the one he's counting on. You ain't the one he's holding responsible for these things, but I'm accounted for that, and so therefore I have to hold myself accountable for taking care of the things that I'm doing. Sandra K,
What?
you got anything?
Nope.
No.
I hope I'm among the counters because I'm trying to be accountable.
I'm counting you. When I count you, I'm counting 6 of us right now. I'm counting 6 of us right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm holding us all accountable. Girly, what about you?
I don't have anything to add, but I have been listening to y'all this entire time.
All right.
I can't hardly hear you, Jayla.
Oh, I was just saying I don't have anything to add, but I've been listening.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, but that's the thing. We have to be held accountable, and what are we held accountable to?
His word, the higher thing.
His word. So just because other people say that they ain't held accountable,
They can do what they want.
that's right.
They under grace.
I can tell you what my mama used to tell me back in the day when she said you need to stay in the yard, and I said, well, so and so can go out there and run the street. What was your response?
And
Yeah, keep it PG.
Yeah.
So and so don't live.
Thank you. Yeah. So
Cindy done said it so much.
Yeah. She's still trying to figure out what's the PG version of that.
She done said it so much she tired of saying it. You ain't got it by now.
Up there and live with so and so. Yeah.
So that's the thing is that as we've all been told and all have said at some point in time, when you're part of this house, there's certain rules that you have to abide by. We don't care what everybody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
In the kingdom of God. If you're part of it, if you're counted as a part of it, you have accountability in it. There's certain things that you are held accountable for. So that we're good. So unless anybody's got anything else that they'd like to share, we'll go ahead and go with the closing of the Torah and the Quranic blessing. So here is the closing of the Torah. Let me pull that up on here. I thought I had it. No.
got it.
You got it. Okay. I thought I had it, but I guess I don't. So we'll just cancel that. It says, and this is the Torah given by
Torah given
Moshe.
the
Moshe
children
to
of
the
Israel,
children of Israel,
command of
the
Yahweh.
command of Yahweh, through the hand of Moshe.
Yahweh spoke
Thus
to
spoke
Moshe,
Moshe, saying, speak
speak
to
to
Aaron
Aaron
and his son, saying,
and this is
this
how
is
you
how you baruch the children of Israel.
say to them,
Say to them,
Yahweh Baruch you,
I'll
guard you.
baruch you
And
and guard
Yahweh make his
Yahweh
face shine upon you,
upon you,
upon
show
you,
favor to
and
you.
show favor to you.
Yahweh lift up
Yahweh lift up his face upon you
and give you
and
peace.
give you peace.
Thus,
Thus
put my
they
name
shall put my name
on the
on
children
the
of Israel.
children of Israel,
I
and
myself
I
myself.
myself
may Baruch.
shall baruch them.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right,
Mm.
indeed, you had a little announcement that you had made earlier and throughout the week.
About doing the Hebrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think I shared it with John, Sandra, Jayla, Ronette. I'm not sure if I shared it with you, but anyhow, there is a HebrewPod101.com where you can take a Hebrew class for 1 month free. And then if you decide to hook up with them, it was $180.
do you have that address, email? I mean, website.
I will get it and send it to everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And I had said I was going to sign up yesterday, which I didn't. So I'm going to go on today and do it. Oh, Marky Mark just put it up there.
Okay, is that what it was?
I think.
101. Okay, because you said Hebrew 101 at first, and I was like, I can't find it.
Yeah, no, it's Hebrew Pod 101.
Okay, gotcha.
And
Send it out though, so it'll come on.
yeah, so that if we like it, some of us may, some of us may not. But anyhow, if you bring a friend with you, the price goes down. It started out, if you decide after the 1 month to continue, it's $180 for the entire year. And if there are 2 of you, then it goes down to $135. And that was from 2 to 4. And then if there's 5, it goes down again. So it will.
There it is now. So
Yeah.
All right. So we're all trying to start this week for whoever might want to start, so we can all be on the same.
Right. So we'll all end at the same time. If we decide to go forward, then we'll go to something else. You know, somebody won't be straggling. And so, I still got another month before I'll be ready. So that was it.
So you get a month free. All right.
Yeah.
Sound like a winner chicken dinner. With all that being said,
Winner, chicken dinner.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Everybody
shalom.
be safe and have a
And I'll send out a
enjoyable
copy.
Okay.
rest of the day.
All right.
Thank you again, John.
Thank you guys for showing.
Thank you.